Good morning, dear students. Let us move on to our last session of this S6, that is the statistical thermodynamics. And this is the only part which is remaining for you to study. And today I will be taking this session completely as a single video. And also, see, you have studied this thermodynamics and spectroscopy, isn't it? Thermodynamics and spectroscopy. Normally, this, what do you mean by thermodynamics? What about the study of this thermodynamics? That means this thermodynamics, it will be dealing with the macroscopic properties. That means it will be dealing with the macroscopic properties of a system. That means there we are considering the system as a bulk, isn't it? There we are considering the macroscopic properties there we are considering the macroscopic properties just in the case of suppose say 1 mole or 2 mole. Okay, like that we are studying the macroscopic properties of a bulk of a system, isn't it? 1 mole means it will be having Avogadro number of it will be having Avogadro number of molecules, isn't it? So there we are dealing with the macroscopic properties and we are considering the system as a bulk, isn't it? We are not dealing with a single molecule, isn't it? And also, while coming to the case of spectroscopy, spectroscopy and quantum mechanics. Normally, this spectroscopy and quantum mechanics. What about these two systems? Spectroscopy and quantum mechanics. Here, this spectroscopy and quantum mechanics, both of them will be dealing with the they are dealing with the information about a single molecule, isn't it? We are studying a single molecule there, isn't it? So we are going into the microscopic aspects of a single molecule. That is what we are going on in this spectroscopy and quantum mechanics, isn't it? So one of the case, they are dealing with a single molecule, while the thermodynamics, they will be dealing with a bulk, isn't it? And also this microscopic properties, etc., they will be studied by using this quantum mechanics. Microscopic properties of a molecule. Microscopic properties of a molecule, say the microscopic properties, let it be speed, momentum, etc. They will be studied that we are studying with the help of this quantum mechanics. So one of it will be dealing with the macro and the another one will be dealing with the microscopic properties. Okay. And also here you have to study the statistical thermodynamics, and this statistical thermodynamics means it is a link between, I am writing this statistical thermodynamics as SD. Okay. So this statistical thermodynamics means it is a bridge between these two. That is, it is a bridge between thermodynamics and quantum mechanics. Okay. It's a bridge between thermodynamics and quantum mechanics. Okay, so the statistical thermodynamics, it will be acting as a link between thermodynamics and quantum mechanics, or it is the study which will be connecting both thermodynamics and and quantum mechanics. So statistical thermodynamics, it is the study of the link between thermodynamics and quantum mechanics. Hope you are clear. Thermodynamics means they will be dealing with the macroscopic properties, or we are considering the matter as a bulk and we are studying the matter as a bulk. And while coming to the case of spectroscopy and quantum mechanics, there we are considering the case of a single molecule. You have seen the spectroscopy, isn't it? So there we are considering a single molecule, and also this quantum mechanics, both of them will be dealing with the microscopic properties of a system. And also the statistical thermodynamics, it will be acting as a bridge between these two, thermodynamics and quantum mechanics. Okay. And also here in the statistical thermodynamics, we will be dealing with some thermodynamic probability. Some of the terms used here are thermodynamic probability in statistical thermodynamics. Thermodynamic probability and partition functions. These are some of the common terms used here in the statistical thermodynamics. Okay, thermodynamic probability and partition functions. Here you have to study both these, just an introduction part of these two. Okay, so thermodynamic probability and partition functions in the case of statistical thermodynamics. So first of all, we can go through what do we mean by a thermodynamic probability. Thermodynamic probability. See here, this normally while we are considering different molecules, say suppose different molecules N1, N2, N3, etc. are present in a system. Okay, different molecules are there, and also while considering each of these molecules N1, N2, N3, etc. they are different molecules, and also while considering these different molecules, they will be having different energies also. Okay, these different molecules, they will be having different energies, and also they will not be having the same energy. These molecules will not be having the same energy. Will not be having the same energy. Say suppose N1 molecules will be having E1 energy. Okay, N1 molecule will be having E1, then similarly N2 will be having E2, then N3 will be having E3 energies. Okay, let it be the energies of each type of molecule. And also we can say that while considering the system as a whole, the total number of molecules will not be changed, isn't it? While we are considering this particular system, and this will be having N1, N2, N3, these are the different types of molecules, N1, N2, N3, etc. And each molecule will be having different energies also. Okay, so while considering the system as a whole, what happens? Will the total number of molecules will be changed? No, the total number of molecules will be remain unchanged, isn't it? So we can say that the total number of molecules, let the total number of molecules, let it be N. Okay, let N be the total number of molecules. Let N be the total number of molecules, and N is equal to, what is it? N is equal to N1 plus N2 plus N3 plus etc. up to, it is up to infinity, or some letter I, up to Ni. Okay. Let the total, so what about the total number of molecules? It is the summation of all these molecules, isn't it? So it will be sigma Ni. Okay, so the total number of molecules will be sigma Ni. Then what about the energy? Will the total energy of the system changes? No, the total energy of the system also remains unchanged, isn't it? So the total molecules will be a constant. Total number of molecules will be a constant, and similarly, and also the total energy will be the same, isn't it? Or the total energy will remain a constant. Okay, so we can write it as the total energy of this particular system. The total energy of this particular system, it will not be changing. So therefore we can write it as E is equal to, say what about the energy of this N1? N1 will be having E1 energy, isn't it? N2 will be having E2. So the total energy will be equal to N1 E1, capital N1. Okay, N1 E1 plus N2 E2 plus N3 E3. I think in my notes it is written as small n. You have to correct it. Okay, plus etc. So N1 E1 plus N2 E2 plus N3 E3 etc. That gives the total energy. That means it will be equal to, how will you write? That is equal to sigma Ni Ei, isn't it? So the total energy of the system will be equal to sigma Ni Ei. See here the number of ways in which, see, thermodynamic probability means it is the number of ways in which the molecule can be distributed into different energy levels, isn't it? See, different types of molecules will be having different energies, isn't it? So we can categorize them into different energy levels, isn't it? So the number of ways in which a molecule can be distributed into different energy levels, that can be calculated by using this formula, that can be calculated by the term thermodynamic probability. Okay, so up to this I think you are okay. So next is we can write the definition for this thermodynamic probability. Thermodynamic probability, and normally this thermodynamic probability, it is written by, or it is notated by the letter W. And there is also one interesting fact is there. This W means it stands for probability, and also the first letter of the German word, that is of this word meaning, that is thermodynamic probability in German. It means it is like that. The spelling is like this. It is quite interesting. WAHRS, then CHEIN, then LICHKEIT. So this is the German word meaning probability. Okay, this is the German word of probability, and the first letter of this word, this German word, that is W. So that represents the thermodynamic probability. Okay, so this thermodynamic probability means it is the number of ways in which molecules can be distributed, into different energy levels. Okay, so that is what is called as the thermodynamic probability, and this is the German word for probability. And the first letter stands for W, stands for thermodynamic probability. Okay, so there is a formula also there for calculating thermodynamic probability W. So W is equal to n factorial divided by n1 factorial into n2 factorial into n3 factorial, etc. Okay, W is equal to n factorial divided by n1 factorial plus n1 factorial, n2 factorial, n3 factorial, etc. So that is equal to, we can write it like this, n factorial divided by pi ni factorial. Okay, so that gives the thermodynamic probability. So thermodynamic probability means it is the number of ways in which the molecules can be distributed into different energy levels. Say suppose I am writing a letter, say I am writing this only for your information, only for your understanding. I am writing this example, that is, for example, I am writing a word bommi. Okay, BOMMI, bommi. Okay, so here what about the chances for number of possible arrangements of this word to have different arrangements? Number of possible arrangements, or the number of ways in which these letters can be arranged into different words. Okay, number of ways in which these letters can be arranged into different words. Okay, this is just for your understanding. Here we can write it as a probability, isn't it? So W is equal to, so what about N? How many letters are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, isn't it? 5 letters. Divided by N is equal to 5, divided by, then how many N1, how many? N1 is B, isn't it? That N1 is equal to B, N2 is equal to O, like that. Okay, so N1 factorial, that means the first letter is B, isn't it? B, how many times? It is 1 time, isn't it? So 1 factorial. Then what about O? O, it is also 1 time, isn't it? O, 1 time. Then how many M's are there? So N3 is equal to 2, isn't it? 2 M's are there. So it is 2 factorial into I. How many times I is coming? Only 1 time. Okay. So N4 is equal to 1. Okay. Or N1 is B, N2 is O, N3 is M, isn't it? N3 is M and N4 is I. Okay. So likewise, see, what about the answer? It is 5 factorial. 5 factorial means 1 into 2 into 3 into 4 into 5. That is 5 factorial divided by 1 factorial is 1. 1 factorial again 1. 2 factorial means 1 into 2 into 1. So what is the answer? The answer will be equal to 60, isn't it? 2 into 2, 4. 5 into 3, 15. 15 into 4. Okay. So 60 times we can write these words, or we can shuffle these letters into different words. Okay, 60 ways of expressing different words using these letters, these 4 letters. Okay, so this is how we have to calculate the thermodynamic probability. Okay, hope you are clear with this. So, thermodynamic probability means it is the number of ways in which the molecules can be distributed into different energy levels. So, here while coming to the case of molecules, N will be the number of molecules and how they are distributed into different energy levels. The answer we will be getting that gives the thermodynamic probability or the number of ways it will be distributed. So, here 60 ways are there for expressing these letters into different words, or in 60 patterns we can write this word. Okay, so that is the answer. So this is how you have to calculate thermodynamic probability of a particular value of a particular system. Okay, then the next is some of the, so all these terms are important. So here it will be asked in 2 marks or 4 marks sometimes, the definition. So many terms are there and these terms are very, very important while considering your examination point of view. Then the next term, that is assembly. Assembly. This is also another important term. Assembly. You know the term assembly, isn't it? It means it is a group. And also here assembly means it is a number of identical entities. Number of identical entities, they are called as an assembly. Number of identical entities, they are called as assembly. Entities means any one of the property. Okay, we can say for a molecule we can say let it be a temperature or let it be pressure. Okay, so number of identical entities or those molecules which are having the same temperature or which are having the same energy, we can call it as an assembly. Suppose a group of girls. See, this is a group of girls. This is a group of girls. That means there is one particular entity, they are girls, isn't it? That their gender is girl, female, isn't it? So we can call it as an entity. Okay, this is just an example. You should not write it this example in your examination paper. So this is an assembly. That means a group of girls. It is an assembly. Okay, so number of identical entities, they are called as an assembly. Then if the entities, they are single particles, then the assembly is known as system. See, suppose so many groups are there of girls group. Okay, suppose this is S6 girls and this is S3 girls and this is S1 girls. See, all of them are having a particular identical entity, isn't it? That means they are all female. So we can say that these different entities, so they are all separate groups and these assemblies together they can called as, these are each assembly. This S1 girls it is one particular assembly, this is another particular assembly, this is another assembly, isn't it? So each particular entity, it is an assembly and this identical entities we can call it as a system. Okay, so these all together, these three categories of assemblies or these three assemblies we can together called as a system. Okay, so again the next term is a system. So what is a system? System means it is a if the entities are single particles. If the entities are single particles, alright. If the entities are single particles, then that assembly is called as a system. So this as such it is having three assemblies or three groups and it is called as a system. Okay, then the next is an ensemble. Ensemble. Ensemble means it is an assembly of assemblies. Assembly of assemblies. Ensemble means it is an assembly of assemblies. That means it is a collection of large number of assemblies which are independent of each other. Okay, it is a collection of large number of assemblies. It's a collection of large number of assemblies, or we can say that it is an assembly of assemblies. That is what we call as an ensemble. Only the terms it is somewhat difficult, but meaning if you are understanding it clearly, then it will be very easy. So ensemble means it is an assembly of assemblies. That means it is a collection of a large number of assemblies or a macroscopic system. So while considering a macroscopic system, different particles will be having different energies, isn't it? And also they are independent of each other. So it is this as ensemble we can call it as they are the large number of replica of a system under consideration. Okay. Suppose see in this group there is another group with boys. Okay. So S6 boys, then S4 boys, etc. like that. So all together, so a combination of all these will be say S2 boys. So a combination of all these assemblies we can call it as an ensemble. So ensemble means it is an assembly of assemblies, or it is a collection of large number of assemblies, and also they are independent of each other. They are independent of each other. Okay. So these are the three important terms you have to study: assembly, a system, and ensemble. Assembly means number of identical entities. Ensemble means assembly of assemblies. And a system means if the entities are single particles, then we can say it is a system. Okay, so this is a system. This is another system. Okay, this is one system. This is another system. And these two systems, when combined together, we can call it as an ensemble. Okay. Then three types of ensembles are there. Three types of ensembles. The first one, that is the microcanonical ensemble. Three types of ensembles. The first one, that is the microcanonical ensemble. Microcanonical ensemble. Then the second one, canonical ensemble. Canonical ensemble. And the third one, that is the grand canonical ensemble. Third one, that is the grand canonical ensemble. See, these terms, you should not worry about these terms. This is very simple. This micro-canonical, canonical and grand canonical ensemble. Usually in thermodynamics, you might have studied of three types of systems. That is an isolated system, a closed system, and an open system, isn't it? Isn't it? So these three ensembles, they will be, we can compare it with these systems in thermodynamics. Okay, this microcanonical, canonical, and grand canonical, we can compare it with these three systems which we study in our thermodynamics: isolated, closed system, and open system. Okay, so let us go through one by one. The first is the microcanonical ensemble. So these are very important. Usually it will be asked in section B part. Definitions might be asked. So first one, that is the microcanonical ensemble. See, this microcanonical ensemble means they have, the first point is that they will be having the same energy, same volume, and same number of particles n. Same energy, same volume, and same number of particles. Okay, and also usually they will be similar to isolated system. You should not write that point, just for your information. They should be almost similar to an isolated system. See, what is an isolated system? There will not be any energy exchange or matter exchange between the surroundings, isn't it? That means if you are keeping a hot coffee inside a thermo flask, it is an isolated system. There is no energy exchange, neither matter exchange with the surroundings, isn't it? That is an example for an isolated system. So here also this microcanonical ensemble resembles an isolated system. And also, what are the properties which are similar here? They will be having the same energy, same volume, and the number of particles. So that particular group will be having these three in common. Okay. So here these microcanonical ensembles, they are separated by rigid, impermeable walls, impermeable and well-insulated walls. Well-insulated walls well insulated walls such that the energy, volume and number of particles will not be changing. Okay, so see, rigid, impermeable and well insulated wall. So no energy exchange will be taking place, no matter exchange will be taking place between the different ensembles. Okay, so this is what we call it as a micro canonical ensemble. Okay, so if you are taking a closed vessel, there will not be any energy exchange or matter exchange. So here it will be having a rigid, impermeable walls, and also these walls are insulated also, isn't it? These walls are insulated, so no energy exchange will be happening there. Okay, no energy exchange will be happening. So this type of ensemble or group, it is called as the microcanonical ensemble. Then the next category, that is the canonical ensemble. Second one, canonical ensemble. Canonical ensemble. See here, canonical ensemble means it will be having the same temperature, volume and number of particles. Okay, same TVN. So here same EVN. See here it has got same TVN, that is same temperature, volume and same number of identical particles. Okay, and also see at equilibrium what happens is that this system, see this canonical ensemble, it will be similar to a closed system. It will be similar to a closed system. What do you mean by a closed system? Closed system will be having some energy exchange, isn't it? Normally, closed system will be having an energy exchange. That means if we are keeping a cup of coffee in a steel jar or steel cup, what happens? Some energy exchange will be taking place, isn't it? So that is an example for a closed system. So this canonical ensemble also, it is similar to that of a closed system. So energy exchange will be happening. So it will be having the same temperature, volume and number of particles. So at equilibrium what happens is that these ensembles, they will be having the same temperature but not the same energy. Not having the same energy. Not having the same energy. Okay, and also these systems, this canonical ensemble, each system will be separated by, they will be separated by a rigid, impermeable and conducting walls. See here we are using conducting walls. So what happens? Energy exchange will be taking place. Okay, so it will be having conducting walls. In the previous case it will be having well insulated walls, isn't it? So that is the difference between the two canonical ensemble. Okay, so it will be having conducting walls. See, this is a matter and it will be having conducting walls. Similar to a closed system, that is canonical ensemble. Okay, so here energy exchange will be taking place. Energy exchange takes place between the systems. Energy exchange takes place between the systems. Then the third category of ensemble, that is the grand canonical ensemble. Third one, grand canonical ensemble. Grand canonical ensemble. See here, this grand canonical ensemble, it will be having the same temperature, same volume and the same chemical potential mu. Chemical potential, it is denoted by the letter mu. So this grand canonical ensemble, it will be having the same temperature, same volume and same chemical potential. And also this grand canonical ensemble, it is almost similar to an open system. What do you mean by an open system? There will be an exchange of energy and matter with the surroundings. Okay, so this is similar to an open system. And this grand canonical, these individual systems or these ensembles, these different ensembles, they are separated by rigid, permeable permeable and conducting walls. Rigid, permeable and conducting walls. See, they are having permeable and conducting walls. That means matter exchange will be taking place through this permeable membrane and conducting wall. So energy exchange will be happening. In the previous two cases, it will be having impermeable and conducting walls in the case of canonical ensemble, and in the case of microcanonical ensemble, it will be having impermeable and well insulated walls. Okay. So these are the three categories of ensembles: grand canonical ensemble, canonical and micro canonical ensemble. And also here what happens? Exchange of energy and matter. Exchange of energy and matter will be there. And also this exchange of energy and matter will be taking place, and as a result what happens is that at equilibrium all the systems will be arriving at a common temperature T and a chemical potential mu. That is how it will be having the same temperature and chemical potential. Okay, there will be an exchange of energy and matter between the neighboring ensembles or neighboring groups, and thereby it will be attaining a common temperature at equilibrium, and common temperature and a common chemical potential. Okay, that is why it is having the same temperature, volume and chemical potential. Then again 2 or 3 terms are there to study. So I hope you are clear with this 3 types of ensembles. This is also very important. These ensembles are also very important. All these terms are very important. Okay, should not skip. It will be asked in, normally this from the statistical thermodynamics, it is usually asked for section A part or B part usually. Now as the number of questions are increased, I think sometimes it might be asked in your section C part. Okay. Then the next is another term that is called as the occupation number. Occupation number. See, occupation number means it is the number of systems in a particular state. Number of systems in a particular state is called as the occupation number. You have seen what is a system. So, the number of systems in a particular state, that is called as the occupation number. And the set of occupation number, it is called as the distribution. The next term, distribution. So, distribution means the set of occupation number. The set of occupation number is called distribution. Okay, simple definition. Then another term, that is the statistical weight factor G. Statistical weight factor. Usually the statistical weight factor, it is denoted by the letter G. Okay, statistical weight factor. And see, this statistical weight factor means it is the degeneracy of a particular energy level. Degeneracy, you know, isn't it? Degeneracy of a particular energy level. Degeneracy of a particular energy level. And this degeneracy of this G, it is equal to the energy states of an energy level. Equal to the energy states of an energy level. Energy states of an energy level. That is what is called as the statistical G factor. Then another term, that is the configuration. Configuration. See, configuration means it is the various equivalent ways of obtaining a state. Various equivalent ways of obtaining a state. That is called as the configuration. Various equivalent ways of obtaining a state, it is called as the configuration. Suppose, say for example, suppose we are tossing 2 coins, 1 and 2. Okay, coin 1 and coin 2. We are tossing 2 coins, and also we have to attain a state showing 1 head and 1 tail. Okay, so this is the condition, or this is the state we need. Okay, that means 1 head and 1 tail. So what are the chances for this 1 head and 1 tail? So in the first chance, we can have coin 1, which will be having head, and coin 2, a tail. Okay, that is one chance for having one head and one tail. What will be the another chance? Coin 2 will be having head, isn't it? Coin 2 will be having head, and coin 1 will be having a tail, isn't it? So we had got two chances of this particular state, that is one head and one tail, isn't it? Coin 1 will be having one head and coin 2 tail. Then in the second state, coin 2 will be having head and coin 1 will be having a tail. So these are the two states by which we will be having one head and one tail. So what about the configuration of this particular system? Say it is a system. So the configuration of this particular system will be equal to how much? It will be equal to 2. The configuration will be equal to 2. So this is what is called as the configuration, that is various equivalent ways of obtaining a particular state. That is called as a configuration. So this is an example for configuration. Okay. Then the next term, that is entropy and probability. Entropy and probability. Probability we have seen. Probability, it is the number of distinguishable ways in which a system can be realized. That is what is called as the probability. See, we have seen distribution. What do you mean by distribution? It is a set of occupation number, and we have to go through what do you mean by distribution numbers. Distribution numbers. See, distribution numbers, see n1, n2, etc. They are called as the distribution numbers. Okay, n1, n2, n3, etc. are called as the distribution numbers, and also some formulas are there for this for evaluating the configurations of a system. Configuration, you know, there are different ways of arrangement or the various equivalent ways of obtaining a state. So there are so many methods for having this configurations of a system, or for obtaining the configurations of a system. Say the first one is that the number of ways of selecting n distinguishable objects from n capital N distinguishable objects. Okay, small n distinguishable objects from capital N distinguishable objects where small n is less than capital N. Say, suppose we can say n distinguishable objects, we can say they are, suppose in a box we are having red and white balls. Let this red and white, let it be the small n. Okay, the color of the ball, let it be small n, and capital N means the total number of balls. Okay, then the number of ways we can select this red balls from this particular box, or the number of ways of arranging this red balls in a particular or the number of ways of picking these red balls from this red and white balls, or from this combination. Okay, so that is what is called as the one way of configuration, or the thermodynamic probability. We can write it as W is equal to n factorial divided by capital N minus n factorial divided by n factorial. Okay, so this is the formula for calculating this thermodynamic probability in this case, that is n distinguishable objects from n capital N distinguishable objects. Then the second one, number of ways of arranging capital N indistinguishable objects into L distinguishable locations into L distinguishable locations. Okay, with only one object in a location. Only one object in a location. With only one object in a location. Say this n indistinguishable objects, let it be, all are white balls. Okay, n indistinguishable objects means all are white balls. And this L distinct locations means we will be having so many locations, that is, we will be having different boxes. Okay, box B1, box B2, box B3, etc. So the arrangement of this white balls in these different locations. So how these balls can be arranged. And also one condition is that with only one object in a location. And also here L, it is greater than or equal to capital N. Okay, so the formula, the probability will be given by L factorial divided by L minus N factorial into N factorial. Okay, so this is the number of ways or number of chances of arranging this n indistinguishable objects into L distinguishable locations. I am saying this as an example. Okay, white balls. Indistinguishable means we cannot distinguish these balls. Okay, all are having the same color. And distinct location or distinguishable location means different locations, B1, B2, B3, etc. with only one object in one location. Okay, that is the second category. Then the third category, that is the number of configurations or number of ways of arranging, number of configurations for n indistinguishable objects into L distinguishable locations without any restriction. Without any restriction. No restrictions will be there. That is, any ball can be kept in any box. Okay. No restrictions are there. So any ball can be kept in any box. So the formula for calculating such occupation number, that is W is equal to n plus L minus 1 factorial divided by n factorial into L minus 1 factorial. N plus L minus 1, I think in your textbook some negative sign are there. It is not right. N plus L minus 1 factorial divided by n factorial into L minus 1 factorial. Okay. So this is another probability or another way of calculating this occupation number. Then the fourth one, that is number of ways or number of configuration of putting n distinguishable objects into L locations with no restriction. See here we are having n distinguishable objects. That means it can be red, white and black balls into L distinct location. So the probability can be calculated by W is equal to L raised to capital N. Okay. So that is the last way of calculating the configuration or the different ways of evaluating the probability or different ways of evaluating the occupation number. Okay. So you have to study all these formulas also. I don't know whether it will be asked. Then the next topic, that is entropy and probability. It is another important part. Hope you are clear up to this. So this is the different ways of calculating the occupation number or probability. Then the next is entropy and probability. Entropy and probability. Entropy, as you know, what do you mean by entropy? It is the disorder of a system, isn't it? It is the disorder of a system, that is entropy, and it is denoted by the letter S, entropy, and the thermodynamic probability, it is denoted by the letter W. And also normally So there is a relation connecting S and W, that is entropy and this probability. And this relation with, that was put forward by Boltzmann. He had got 2n, okay, Boltzmann. And also the relation connecting entropy and this probability, that is S is equal to, entropy is equal to, it is a function of this probability. S is equal to F of W. Okay. So this is the relation connecting entropy and probability. And also if two systems having entropies S1 and S2 and their probabilities, let it be W1 and W2, then we can write it as S1, it is a function of W1, isn't it? S1, it is a function of W1 and S2 is a function of W2. S2 is a function of W2. So this is the entropy and this is the probability of a system. And also if these two systems are combined, these are two systems, isn't it? If these two systems are combined, the total entropy, we can write it like this. The total entropy will be S will be equal to S1 plus S2. Okay, and also the net probability, the total probability W is equal to W1 into W2. Okay, so therefore we can write it like this. Therefore S is equal to, it is a function of W, that is equal to F of, what is W? W1 into W2, isn't it? Function of W1 into W2, that is, then again what is S? That is S1 plus S2, that is equal to F of W1 plus F of W2. And also this equation, it is of the form ln xy, that is equal to ln x plus ln y. Okay, so therefore we can write it as f of w, that is equal to k ln w. Okay, f of w is equal to k ln w. Then what is k? K is the Boltzmann constant. Ln x plus ln y. That means ln x plus ln y means it will be equal to ln w, isn't it? F of w. So f of w is equal to k log w, where k is the Boltzmann constant. K is the Boltzmann constant. So therefore we can write it as S is equal to, what is f of w? That is equal to S. So f of w is equal to k ln w. So this is the Maxwell this is the relation connecting entropy and the probability. Okay, then you have to study some points regarding this entropy of a system. And also the first point is that at absolute zero, what happens? Absolute zero means, at absolute zero, what about the disorder or order of the system? The molecules will be in the ground state, isn't it? There will not be much energy for the molecules, so the molecules will be in the ground state, isn't it? So if the molecules are not, they are not in the excited state, they are in the ground state, that means they will be having minimum energy, isn't it? So we can say that what about the disorder of the system or entropy of the system? The disorder of the system will be equal to 0 since the molecules are at rest, isn't it? And also the molecules, all the molecules will be in the ground state. So there is only one chance for arranging the molecules. That means the molecules will be in the ground state. The molecules will be in a particular energy level. So we can say that the thermodynamic probability or the occupation number will be equal to 1 for that molecule. That means the molecules will be in the ground state. All the molecules are in the ground state. So there will be only one pattern of arrangement for this particular molecule. Okay, so entropy will be equal to 0 and W will be equal to 1. So then the second point, as temperature increases, what happens? The molecules will be moving to the next higher energy levels, isn't it? As temperature will be increasing, molecules will be going to the higher energy levels. And what about the disorder of the system? The molecule will be moving to the higher energy levels. Therefore, the number of ways of arrangement, of the molecules What about the number of ways in the previous case, that is when the molecules when the temperature is at absolute zero, the molecules are at the ground state, that is the molecules will be at only one energy level. But if temperature is increasing, what happens? The molecules will be moving to the higher energy levels. So what happens? Disorder of the system increases, isn't it? Or the number of ways of arrangement of the molecule increases. And therefore, the entropy increases, isn't it? Entropy increases. K, L and W also increases. Okay, so as temperature increases, what happens? The number of ways of arrangement of the molecule increases. That means K log W will be increasing. Thereby, entropy is also increasing. So we can say that greater order means, next point, third point, greater order and greater disorder. What do you mean by that? Greater order and greater disorder. What do you mean by that? Greater order means number of ways of arranging the molecules will be small, isn't it? Small number of ways of arrangement. That means the entropy will be low, isn't it? Small number of ways of arrangement. And greater disorder means larger number of ways of arrangement. Larger number of ways of arrangement. Okay, that means greater order means the entropy will be low. Greater disorder means entropy will be high. So we can say that as entropy increases, what happens? This probability will be increasing, and also the disorder will also be increasing, isn't it? Entropy increases means disorder increases, the probability or the number of ways of arrangement will also be increasing. So that is the third point. Then the fourth point, entropy means it is a measure of disorder of a system, isn't it? It is a measure of disorder of a system. So what happens while we are considering the case of gaseous state? So on melting, if you are melting a particular compound, what happens? What about the entropy? Entropy will be increasing, isn't it? And also while during vaporization means it will be converted to the gaseous form, isn't it? Again, entropy will be increasing. So here also during the process of melting and vaporization, the disorder of the system increases. Okay. So next is one more part is remaining, that is the partition function. Next is the partition function, that is the last part in this thermodynamics. Partition function. See, partition function I will be taking as the next video. Okay, otherwise it will be so lengthy. Okay, thank you.